The Oprah effect has hit real estate. You get $1 million home and you get $1 million home. Everybody gets $1 million home. What is this all about? Welcome to Real Estate Daily. I'm Ryan Leneker, filling in for Troy Reed today. It is Monday, August, what is this, the 14th? I mean, the whole year has flown by. Thank you guys for joining us. As you know, we go live here Monday through Friday, bringing you the latest in real estate headlines and how it pertains to you. So thank you for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you get notified when we go live. And if you get a chance, hit the like button as well. It absolutely helps us out. So let's jump into this. We've got $1 million homes nearing 10% of the market as property prices rise. Everybody's getting $1 million home. What's up with that? As we know, inflation has a big part to do with it, and scarcity, right? It's supply and demand. There just isn't enough housing. We're over 5 million housing units short here in the United States, and that is gonna be driving up prices. So this one here is talking about Redfin report. 1 in 10 homes in the US are now worth at least $1 million. I remember as a kid, oh my gosh, that guy's got $1 million home. Well, now everybody's got $1 million home, it seems like, especially in California. What's interesting is there has been a big drop in certain communities in California and in the Pacific Northwest. No surprise, areas like Seattle, Oakland, you've got people fleeing because of their perceived public safety issues, right? You've got a lot of people that are working tech jobs that don't need to be in downtown situations anymore. So you've seen a huge drop in some of those. But what's interesting is California still has the highest share of $1 million plus homes in the country by far. But Texas over here, sorry, you are out. Texas and the Rust Belt have a very low amount. But pretty interesting there. As we know, prices have been driven up due to the demand of buyers. What else is interesting right now is the mortgage delinquency rate falls to the lowest since 1979. This is no surprise. I mean, when the market started having rates go up last year, you had all these, the crash bros come out. Oh my gosh, it's going to be, an epic crash, just like '08 all over again. They're these one-trick ponies. They saw it once. They assume it's going to happen again, but they're not smart enough to get into the actual economics of what's going on. We have low inventory. We still have strong demand. Therefore, things aren't going to just crash. There's not going to be forced selling like there was before. And as we can see right now, mortgage delinquencies are low because if people get into problems, they have so much equity. They can refinance and do cash out and get things under control, maybe streamline their debts so that they can be in a better situation month to month. They can sell, cash out, maybe go somewhere less expensive, buy, rent, whatever. They can take control of that equity and go do something else better with it. And that is one of the few reasons why we're seeing mortgage delinquency rates fall. So MBA is reporting that the mortgage delinquency rate fell to its lowest level since it began tracking this metric 43 years ago. That is absolutely amazing. I didn't expect a huge foreclosure crash, but I also didn't expect it to be this low, to be honest with you. On top of that, the share of owner occupants buying foreclosures has doubled. So this article here kind of goes into some of that reasoning. One of the biggest takeaways from this, especially in California, if a bank forecloses on a property, there is something called the first look, period. Now, when the bank forecloses, if they take it back, so let's say the bank, the borrower owed $500,000 with fees, all that kind of stuff, it's up to $575,000. That property goes to auction. Let's say nobody bids because the home's really only worth $500,000. Why would somebody pay cash at a trustee sale $575,000? They don't. The bank takes it back. When they go to sell it, there is a 30-day period in California where they have to only offer that property to owner occupant buyers. On top of it, US-wide, the Federal Housing Administration loans, FHA loans, and FHFA require this 30-day first look auction on their properties as well. So you can either be a nonprofit, government entity, or an owner-occupant buyer. Now, what's interesting in California, if an investor comes in and says, okay, that 575 property, it's really worth $1 million, I want to buy it 575, and they buy it cash at the trustee sale, an owner occupant actually has the ability, as well do some nonprofits, to come in after that sale and say, hey, you know what, we're an owner occupant, we want to buy it for that price of 575. And so I have not seen a lot of that playing out yet, but it's very interesting because these investors, they might be able to get a good deal on something, but an owner occupant can come in and swoop it away from them. So that's something to really look into when you guys take a look at foreclosures. And that's why we haven't seen a ton of foreclosures coming out there decaying the market value of homes. Because end of the day, you really have a lot of owner occupant buyers moving into these properties. So pretty interesting there. And there we have it, really. So the share of owner occupants buying foreclosures has doubled. And I think they actually gave some numbers. So there's 8% of buyers were buying owner occupant properties on this auction.com platform in February of 2022, and it's since doubled. And so here are some of the auction owner occupant buyer shares by region, and breaks down. Pretty interesting article if you want to take a look at it. And another interesting stat was 95% of these first look auctions went to owner occupants versus nonprofits and government. So here's a quick Forbes article, and it's talking about what is going to be happening in 2023. Will there be a lot of foreclosures? As you know, we don't see it. The filings have been up in certain other communities in Southern California. I really don't see it. So highest foreclosure rates in June were Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Illinois. You see California on there? Not a chance. So we continue to see strong pricing here, multiple offers, things going over the sale price of the last closed comp and the last appraised value, really. So my last couple deals have all set new comps for appraisals, and I've had a couple of appraisals come in short, and these are all multiple offer. You have a lot of cash offers coming in where the highest price is cash on top of it, going over what the property would appraise for on the market right now. That's the type of market we're in. I do expect it to slow down a little bit into September, October. I think we're starting to enter normal cycles where, you know, the spring gets really hot, summer kind of gets hot, and when we get to the end of the summer, schools are starting again in normal cycles, and people start getting kind of distracted. They go into holidays, they go into school mode and that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be very interesting to watch. I don't know. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think? Please comment below. But I think we're going to start to enter more of these normal cycles. So there might be some really good buying opportunities as we hit October, November, December. The problem is prices look like they're going to keep going up in the next 2 months before we get there. So, you know, it's still always better to get in as soon as you can, because you just don't know where those prices are going to be. And if you get beat out on an offer, that becomes a new high comp, and everything else just seems to keep getting ratcheted up from there. So some other interesting headlines. I think Troy covered this a while back, and it was Fannie Mae was coming in doing this title waiver pilot. So if you had a Fannie Mae owned loan and you were refinancing or selling it to another, you know, FHFA lender, they weren't going to potentially require title insurance. They completely scrapped that program. So I thought it was kind of interesting, but yeah, so they were trying to keep costs lower for consumers, but really it looked like they were just trying to make more money themselves. Not surprising, and they got a lot of blowback on that. So that has been scrapped. All of this talk about rates, where are they right now? We are still bumping around that 7% rate here for conforming loans. What's wild is FHA has entered the chat. They are pushing that 7% rate. That's been a little rough to see, because obviously you've got some additional fees with that. Obviously you got your MI funding fees and things like that. So it's pretty rough to see FHA that close to 30-year conforming right now. But there are other options. A lot of people are looking at 5-year adjustable rate mortgages because they're following these economists' views that rates should be ticking down in the near future. So I have no prediction. I do not know what is happening in the future, but we've got a lot of clients looking at 5-year fixed in the 4.5% range for loans, and that's been ideal for them. That's a good choice that they've decided to make, and they're basically going off of, you know, some of these estimates, like over here where Goldman Sachs expects the Feds to resume rate cuts in the second quarter of 2024. They are expecting or prophesizing that rates are going to come down in this 3 to 3.25 rate for Fed rates. So there's a federal funds rates, which right now is roughly this 5.33 right here, 5.33. So it could be dropping 2%. Hopefully that would, you know, drop the 10-year treasury as well, and we could get rates to shave off, you know, a point or two. So that's what a lot of economists are looking at. They're expecting rate drops on the horizon. Is just when and how much. So keep following us, because we're going to let you know as soon as we know, and as soon as we see some break in the rates to that downside, we're going to be over here jumping for joy, popping champagne, because that is going to help you with your affordability. But again, I think it's more important to get into your home because we are seeing that lack of housing. So number one thing is get in and then refi down the road when the economy changes and rates drop. Thank you for joining us again. Subscribe. I think we've got some cool buttons over here for subscribe. I don't know if that popped on. Boom, subscribe. We could do some fireworks over here, some like, but more than anything, reply. I want to know what you think the economy is doing going forward. Thank you for joining in. Take care. Troy should be back tomorrow.